Okay, so we're on the last page, the last example for our notes. It says payback plan. It says Alina borrowed some money from her brother. She pays him back by giving him the same amount every week. The graph shows how much she owes after each week. Answer and explain your reasoning for each question. All right, so we have the graph. It says time in weeks and amount owed in dollars. So number one says, what is the slope of the line? I want you to pause and see if you can think about how we can find the slope of the line. Pause the video and see if you can come up with that on your own. Okay, so normally we are finding 2 points on the graph, perfect points, and we are calculating y minus y over x minus x. And that will still get us the slope, even if our line is going down. Okay? We're going to work more with that in lesson 10, though. So what we're going to do this time is we're going to revert back to our triangles. Do you guys remember our triangles where we plotted 2 points and then we drew in the triangles? All right, so for this one, it starts at 15 and it goes to 14, 13 to 12. So to go from 15 to 12, I would have to subtract 3, or it goes down 3. Then it goes from 1 to 2 horizontally. We still put our y over our x, or our vertical over our horizontal, so we would put negative 3 over 1, or simply negative 3. So the slope of this line is negative 3. So it says, explain how you know whether the slope is positive or negative. So there's a couple different ways that we can know whether it's positive or whether it's negative. Okay? First of all, we know that negative lines go down. So it's negative because the line goes down. I'm going to put downhill. We also know that because in our problem it says that the amount is based off of what she owes. She's giving money back. So the amount that she owes is decreasing or going down every time. So as she pays him back, the amount that she's owing is decreasing as time passes. So what do you guys think that the negative 3, what do you think the slope represents for this situation? So this situation is talking about amount owed in dollars over time in weeks. So we explain slope the same way as we did before. We got to use those key words of per, each, every. So what's happening? What's happening in this scenario? Well, every week, Alina is giving her brother how much money? $3. So every week, she pays back $3. How much did Alina borrow? So in the beginning, how much did she borrow from her brother? Hopefully you know where to find that. We can find that by finding our vertical intercept, because before she pays him back, she would have had to have borrowed it first. So no time has passed. That's when she borrows the money. So our vertical intercept right here is what's going to be how much Alina borrowed in the beginning. So she borrowed $18 in the beginning. And I'm going to put that it was our vertical intercept. I'm going to put the point 0.18. Okay, then number 5 says, how much time will it take for Alina to pay back all the money she borrowed? We should be able to find this on our graph. So take a minute, pause the video, and see if you can figure out how much time it will take for Alina to pay back all the money that she borrowed from her brother. Hopefully, you found the x-axis, the point where it's at $0 owed, and it will take 6 weeks for Alina to pay back all the money she borrowed. I'm going to put that we find it at the point 6, 0. Remember, the 6 is representing weeks. The 0 would be amount owed. That's when she doesn't owe any more money. All right, guys, there's a lot of useful information within this lesson, okay? We talked about lines that now go downhill, not just lines that go uphill. We looked at different scenarios. We looked at a graph that we had a 0 slope for because it doesn't go up and over or down and over at all. And then we were able to look at a negative line and figure out the slope and be able to talk about what that means for that situation. All right, so let's finish up with the important information here. Slopes can be blank, blank, or even blank. Hopefully you know the 3 that we've talked about so far. So slopes can be positive. That's what we've worked with the most. They can now be negative, but they can also be 0. A negative slope often describes situations where a quantity is decreasing over time. I'm also going to put in parentheses going down over time. And then the last one says a slope of 0 means that there is no change in the y values, even though the x values may be changing. And we know that on that 0 graph, we put those 3 points. And if we look at those 3 points, again, the y values all stayed the same, even though the x values changed. So that's one way we can know whether or not it has a 0 slope. Okay. All right, at this point in time, you guys should have your entire Lesson 9 notes completed. Okay, you need to raise your hand, show the sub your notes packet, and be completing the cool down. Okay. Make sure if you have any questions that I can answer that you shoot me an email. Otherwise, please be on your very best behavior, and I will see you on Wednesday.